That's funny.
Thinking about moving to Grand Rapids, Michigan, or just want to know what it's like there to vacation there or visit there? This is the episode for you. I have Martin Uchendu, realtor, right next to me. Say hi, Martin.
Hey guys.
And we're going to be talking to Martin in just a second. This is Wanna Move There, the show giving all humans the information they need to decide whether or not they want to move to another area outside of where they live. I used to say Central Pennsylvanians, Martin, and I changed it to all humans because I figured anybody could be watching it on the whole planet and deciding if they want to move somewhere. So, and why limit myself to Central Pennsylvania? So we're giving it to all humans and aliens. If there's aliens out there watching a million years from now, feel free to call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, all that I'm going to say in a minute. I am DerekBicksler, your host, realtor for 15 years. I grew up right here in Central PA, on the hill we call it, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Went to Mechanicsburg High School in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and went up to Penn College of Technology in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So I am your Pennsylvania man. Had a few sales jobs before I started selling real estate 15 glorious years ago. If you need to buy or sell a home, call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. We still need inventory pretty badly here on, what is this? Thanksgiving Eve, the 24th of November in 2021. We're still in the middle of needing inventory, and we'll talk to Martin about his market and what it's like there in a minute. A reminder that whether you're watching live or on a replay, feel free to ask a question in the comments and say hi if you know either one of us, and say where you're watching from, since this is all over the planet and intergalactic now, I guess. Put in the comments where you're watching from, and if I don't see it while we're going along here, we will come back and address it later. And a reminder that all the replays are on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and man, I'm going to change it right now while we are on the air. It's not soon on iTunes and everything. It is there right now on iTunes, Spotify, and all the audio podcast places at the same time also. So wherever you like to get your content, this will be living there after the live. And now, without further ado, I will bring in Martin Uchendu, realtor in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm going to bring up your bio and read it to everybody, but while I'm pulling that up, say hi to everybody, number one, and then tell everybody what the last movie you watched was.
Yeah. Hi everybody. This is Martin Uchendu, real estate agent in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The last movie that I watched was called, it was called Journey with Jesus. Journey with Jesus, and it's not really a new movie. It's kind of been out there already, but nonetheless, it was the last one that I watched. Do you want me to say what it's a little bit about, Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically, it was by a pastor whose name is Tony Evans and his family, the Evans family. And essentially they they took a trip to Israel, and basically followed the life of Jesus Christ. In the scriptures, they went to the areas that he stayed at. They went to Gethsemane. I'm butchering that place. Gethsemane, I think it's called. Golgotha. They went to the synagogue. They went to Lazarus's tomb. They went all those areas where we read about in the Bible, and just kind of basically took the viewers, the audience, on that trip of the life of Jesus, and in the real life, in a way.
So they actually followed in the physical footsteps of like the places he went
Yes.
and lived and worked and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
How long? When did when did they crucify him? How old was he? 30s?
33. He was crucified. Yep.
Okay. So how many
3
different
years.
places?
3
would
years
that-
of ministry, and he traveled all throughout the place. And so the Tony Evans, the pastor, went through those areas, the key areas, and showed the audience basically, hey, this is where he preached on this day. Hey, this is where he did this miracle. Hey, even this is where he turned water into wine, and so on and so forth. It was a great experience for me personally.
So was it a documentary?
No, I wouldn't call it necessarily a documentary. More so like, actually, maybe that would be a good way to describe
Or a
it.
dramatization?
Yeah,
They have actors playing out parts of it at
Oh,
least?
no actors, just like literally just like, hey guys. And then so he would go there like in person, and being that he's been a pastor for I don't know how many, probably 30 plus years or something like that, he would pre- uh, preach a message based on that section of the Bible and what it meant to him and what it should mean for the audience as well. So that's kind of how each location that he went, he would speak on kind of what it meant to him.
That's cool, and it's kind of apt. It could be a good thing to watch, kind of during the Christmas season,
Yeah.
even maybe,
Yeah.
or Easter. Christmas and Easter are both be great times to watch it. You can
Yeah,
watch
I
it
agree.
right at Christmas, and then watch it at Easter. Also, bookend
That's
your
right.
watching of it. That sounds cool. I like that, and I like learning stuff. And you probably learn things about history and the time period and the places that he was and all that kind of stuff too. So you're probably getting factual knowledge
Yeah.
about history too. I would
Exactly.
think so.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. And
Yep.
out of the box. So you didn't say Squid Game or something like that. So I like hearing something different. Nobody said Squid Game, but
Yeah.
I like hearing something I've never been exposed to before. So you grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So you're born and raised there. Nobody better to talk to. You went to Ottawa.
Actually, believe it or not, I was born in Nigeria, another country. But I moved to Grand Rapids when I was 6 years old, in 2003, and I've spent 18 plus years now here. So I could basically say I've been raised here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where at? And I just had Chinny on the show in well, he was trying to. I say Lagos. That's what I want to say. He was saying it's Legos or Lagos is kind of how he said it.
Yeah,
Where are you?
Lagos, different way to pronounce it. But for me, I was born in Anambra State is what we call it, Anambra State in Nigeria.
And where is that located in the? Previous to interviewing him and looking at a map, I knew absolutely nothing about Nigeria, but now I can kind of picture, and I know the north it gets hotter and gets into the desert way up in the north of Nigeria. So where is it in Nigeria?
So I'm from and actually, I'm probably no more better as far as map wise, and geographical wise, especially because it's been so long. Believe it or not. So I was born there, and I came to America when I was 6 years old. Believe it or not, I haven't been back since 18 years now. I haven't been back since. So yeah, no, I say that because I'm probably no more better at knowing the geographical areas than you are. So, but
You
God
need to go
willing.
back and read and watch the episode then.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Nice. And when I get to your favorite food, this will make sense now since your favorite food is the same as
Yep.
Chinny's was when I interviewed him. So you are raised, at least, maybe not born, but raised in where you live now and where you practice real estate now. So that's awesome. And nobody or no better tour guide to get or real estate agent to have than somebody that is from where they practice real estate. You went to Ottawa Hills High School. So shout out to anybody that's around there. And what's the mascot for Ottawa Hills?
Bengal
The Bengal. Oh, that's a good one.
tiger. Yep.
Yeah. The Tigers, Wildcats, any kind of cats. I think I saw some statistic. It's like 70% of mascots are based on some kind of big cat, but I've never
nice.
heard Bengal. Obviously the Bengals, but never in
Yeah,
a
right.
smaller high school or something. You went to Cornerstone University. You studied ministry leadership. Your favorite color is purple. Nice to see a change because it's been blue, turquoise blue, teal blue, electric blue, maybe a couple pinks. So, and you might be the second purple. So, purple, nice to see a change there. And your favorite food, like I said, is same as our Nigerian friend Chinny. It is rice. So that makes sense. Is that do you think it's a carryover from the Nigerian culture and you just always have rice around?
I think so. I mean, rice is just such a staple food in Nigeria. I've been eating rice since I was a kid. It's always been rice. And so
Do you
yeah,
have a rice cooker in your house?
I do. Yep. It's really
Nice.
simple. If you don't have a rice cooker, guys, you need to get yourself a rice cooker. Put it in there, put some water in there, and let it cook by itself.
I had a friend, his Chinese or Japanese, one of the two, I think. And I remember he had a rice cooker and there was always rice in it. Like there was 24/7 rice on demand at his house. And it was the best. We would just take handfuls, or when we were partying or something, we would be throwing it around. And yeah, there was always rice on demand.
Oh, that's funny.
Can you leave it in the thing? Because I feel like they would make it and it's just sitting in the cooker all the time.
I do that. I put it in there, and then once it's done, of course, you take it. There's a piece that comes off, and just put it in the refrigerator, and so that's how I keep it warm.
Gotcha. And this was, wow, 25 years ago now. So rice cooking technology has probably come a long way too.
Yeah.
But I like rice. You can put it with all kinds. So what's your favorite way to eat rice?
I would say white rice with. It's a special. This is another kind of Nigerian/African dish. It's like a red stew that we make, and then we eat that with the rice. And so it's made with like bell peppers and tomatoes and different other types of peppers, and blended together, and then we use that with the rice.
Blended together as in like blended, or just mixed together?
Blend. So you get the blender, and then you blend the peppers, and then you blend the tomatoes, and then you let it cook to simmer down, and then you put some seasoning in there. I typically like to put bouillon cubes and just like chicken base flavoring and salt, and then basically it's done after that. And then you don't forget your oil. You gotta put your vegetable oil. You let it cook in vegetable oil.
That's
Martin's little recipe for you guys for today. So no charge.
I find if I make tomato soup or something kind of like similar to that, I go through like a lot of tomatoes depending on how much soup you're trying to make.
Yeah.
With those, there's a name for that kind of. It's not creamed soup, isn't there? There's a name for that kind of soup.
Tomato bisque.
A bisque, yeah, a bisque.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, totally. So rice, great. Do you have pets? No pets. No pets you put on your form, but since filling out the form in that short time, you've gotten 2 cats, you said. Did you adopt said cats as kittens? Did you buy the cats? Did you get them at a shelter? What's the story with the cats?
It's quite a funny story. So my pastor, he calls me one day and says, "Martin, I got a surprise for you." I said, "All right." He said, "Come over. You got to come over and see it." All right. So I came over, and he said, so here I am, like, okay, what is it? He walks me to his back, to the side of his house, and then we're on his porch, and then cats come out. I'm like, "Cats? What?" He said, "Yeah, they need a home. They need a place to stay." He said, "Either you keep them or you take them to the Humane Society." So I said, "All right, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot." So I took them in, and they've been here ever since. They've been acting good. It's just so adorable. Like I can't stop. Like I can't imagine them like not in my life anymore. It's just weird.
Well, when your pastor calls, then you trust your pastor, so you're probably like, "Yeah, whatever, I'll come over," and then you get stuck with these 2 cats. But they're probably a good part of your life. Are they fixed?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're fixed.
Do you plan to fix them?
By fixed, you mean, what do you mean?
Neutered, spayed, or
okay.
Yeah, spayed or neutered.
Yeah, no, I don't think that they are. I was told to do so I probably will.
Are they a male and female?
No, they're male and male.
Okay, well that's a little bit better. You don't want like accidental, now I have 10 cats.
Oh yeah, no.
I made that mistake with mice when I was little. My parents got me 5 mice. 3 got killed off. Well, I think the dominant male killed 3 off, and then there was a male and a female left. Gave no thought to this when I got the mice, and they started having babies. And I'd say within a month or 2, we had 50 mice running around because every week they're dropping a litter of like 10. So we ended up taking this aquarium full of mice. It ended up being like a quad decker with floors. We kept adding floors, and we just took the whole thing to a pet store, probably to be sold by a snake owner. I would gather.
I see. Yep.
Why else would you? That's really the only reason they sell them. Anybody that buys a white mouse as a pet is kind of a
pretty much.
an anomaly, I think. They're, oh, you
Yep.
want it as a pet?
Yep. I agree.
Although they are pretty good pets. So you do have two cats now.
Yep.
You don't have any kids, and you're not married. And your hobbies are writing and playing soccer. Did you play soccer when you were younger?
I did. Yeah. I was a part of a few teams when I was younger, mostly like, school teams, high school teams, and so on and so forth. And I never continued into like, say college, or professional, but it was definitely a hobby of mine back then. And it's still a hobby of mine now as well.
There are adult leagues around, right?
Yep, they are adult leagues. I play with a group. I wouldn't necessarily call it a league. It's more so it's like a Facebook group of soccer players, really. And so we have like set times and days where we rent out kind of sportplexes, and we all jump in there, and there'll be like 15 to 30 people, or sometimes more, just show up and we'll all play together. So it's a Facebook group that I'm typically a part of, and that's how I kind of stay in touch with the hobby.
Beautiful. One of the good things about social media these days is you can organize that kind of thing. And so it sounds like it's kind of like an organized pickup game.
Yep. Yep.
And then is it like basketball where if you can't all fit on the field at one time, you just kind of form the next team and say,
Yep.
we got next, or you write your name down to play next or whatever?
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's always pickup. It's never, you don't form teams, or it hasn't gotten to the point yet,
Not
least,
not really.
where you're picking
It's always
teams
really
and
just
going.
pick up. Whoever shows up and plays. Some days it's just like way too many people for one game, and then we have to like, talk about how we're gonna split it up, and do segments, say 10-minute segments, blah blah blah. First goal wins, blah blah blah. Kind of how we do it.
And is this indoor? At an indoor
Yep.
place?
This is indoor soccer. Yep. Especially, I mean,
With
we
turf.
during the summer we were playing, outdoor as well. But now that it's winter over, yeah, it's winter over here in Michigan, and we are indoor now.
And is that something you do like like every week? That's like a main regular thing
Yeah, I
you
try
do
to
as
do
a
it like at
workout?
least once a week just to keep myself active, and it's always fun as well. So I try to do that once a week as well. It's like my hobbies between soccer and writing as well, have been being an author, and writing books and literature. It's like creating my schedule, organizing my schedule between those two. It can be somewhat tricky a little bit, but nonetheless, I like to kind of dibble dabble in soccer as well as continue writing as well.
Yeah. Well, how old are you?
I am 25.
Oh man, to be so yeah. Enjoy your knees while you have those. So I used to play I just quit basketball maybe a couple years ago because my knees
Wow.
can't handle it anymore, which sucks. So the day will come when you can't, or at least not as hard as you can now. So there's
Yeah.
plenty of time for writing. So get the soccer in while you can and enjoy the 25-year-old body. I'm 43 and now my shoulder's going and like, ugh. But there were some like 50, 60-year-olds that still played in some of the games that I would play in, and they're all just get the shot or get your knee replaced or all of that, but then you're just destroying your hips more and you're destroying the rest. So I just agreed with my doctor, I'll stop that, and I had to stop skiing too. So
Oh my! And you're
yeah.
the mountain climber, man.
I am, which isn't that bad until now my shoulder kind of, but it's not. Yeah, the rock climbing isn't bad and biking helps my knees, it feels like, or at least it doesn't hurt them. So my mountain biking has shot through the roof since
Okay.
quitting mountain biking, but
Good.
I'm jealous. So do you run too? Are you a runner or you can't
Not really.
do
Not
that?
really. I mean, I
really?
used to run when I was younger, but not anymore.
It's too boring, I think.
Yeah.
Because you could be a basketball is similar to soccer. We don't run as far the distance, but it's pretty much you're running full speed or half speed pretty much the entire time.
Soccer can be tiring. It's just a lot of running. So I get my exercise in that way.
Yeah, that's great. And then what do you write?
I write I mean, the last book that I've published is a fictional story. So I really enjoy writing fictional novels, which are fictional stories. Um, but I also have kind of nonfiction works, nonfiction content in the works as well. But as of right now, I have one novel that's published, and I have another novel, my second one, that's currently in the works as well.
So does published mean like somebody pays you, or maybe not pays you, but it's published under some publishing house or whatever, or is that self-published? Because you could do all kinds of things these days, right?
Yeah. Yep. Self-published is the way that I chose to go down personally. And so, so basically it's on Amazon. Amazon, you can go to Amazon. The book is called Remembering Star. You can go to Amazon and, purchase a copy there. So that's kind of the means by which I published the book there. And there are, a variety of different options, but Amazon is the method that many people are most familiar with, and that's the method that I chose to personally self-publish through.
You need to do an Audible version so a brother like me can
Yeah.
can get up on that, because I can't read. I mean, I can read, but
Yeah, right.
I detest it. But if you throw it on Audible, I'll be all over that.
A lot of people have told me to do an Audible version, so I
It
will.
wouldn't take that long, right? Those books are, I mean, you'd have a bunch of takes a lot of the time, but most books are a couple hours, few hours if you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
read them.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to get it done in probably 3 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, well, good for you. That's a big undertaking, and to write multiple books.
thanks.
And I'm sure it gets your creative juices flowing,
It
which is
does.
great. And so does real estate. Actually, that's part of the reason I like real estate, is because you can get creative with it and go all kinds of different directions with it. You didn't start real estate when you came out of college, and you actually went to Cornerstone for ministry leadership. So how did you get from going for ministry leadership to now being a real estate agent?
That's a phenomenal question. I so I like you said, right? I graduated Cornerstone with a bachelor's degree in ministry leadership, and all for a long time now. Really, I'd say probably maybe 7 to 8 years. I've been in ministry, in training in ministry under my senior pastor, the same one who called me about those cats, by the way. Um, so I've been in ministry training, and ministry it's a bit different for everybody, because some people, they go into this like a residency program and they become ordained deacons or ordained pastors, or associate pastors, senior pastors, whatever it might be. For me, I graduated Cornerstone University, got a bachelor's degree in ministry leadership, which was my hope that, this degree was going to catapult really my ministry endeavors. And after graduating, I was still training, right? And so I hadn't been ordained yet. And I really didn't know what route to take with my, career and my life, really. And
Is there a certain denomination? Sorry to cut you off.
say that again.
Is there a certain denomination that you attend or were going for, or that your training was in,
Yep.
or any of that?
No denomination was. That's the church that I'm affiliated with is not the non-denominational. So basically, it was kind of a rough moment, I would say, in my life at that time, after graduating, because like I didn't know where to go and what to do. Really, I was like sitting back in a state of limbo, almost like, do I go back to college? Do I get a master's degree? Do I even pursue ministry anymore? Or so on and so forth.
Go get more debt?
Exactly right. I didn't know what to do. And then it was like at that moment, that's when real estate opened up in on my horizon. And I had purchased a house sometime earlier prior, and that was my first house. I purchased my first house when I was 22 years old. And so when I purchased that house, it was just kind of a catapult into into real estate, because I always had a interest in investing, being an investor in real estate. And so being a real estate agent was kind of uh, another, I would say, um, another tool, if you, for lack of a better word, right, in my toolbox. And in that same toolbox is being a, investor in real estate as well. So that's when I kind of, being in that state of almost limbo, I would call it, I kind of decided to take to go down the journey of real estate and really pursue that as a career, something that I had been previously interested in, intrigued by, um, and having more time, apart from school and college and homework and blah blah blah. It was just a great, you know, opportunity for me. And last thing I'll say about that is, I was, and I've told this story previously as well. I was driving one day to where I was living, my house, and I saw a sign, and the sign was for a local company, real estate company here in Michigan called Martin Commercial Properties. And I saw that sign and I was kind of intrigued by it because, of course, my name is on it, right? If you saw your name, Derek Commercial Properties, I'm sure you would be intrigued by it. So I saw my name, I was like, Martin Commercial Properties. And so I was like, interesting. So I drove by it. I took a look at the sign. I parked my car, just took a look at the sign, just beginning to meditate. And I really sensed in my heart, I believe that that was the moment that God was really directing me down the path of real estate. And it's more than just the fact that my name was on, Martin Commercial Properties, right? Even though that's not my company. But I called the vice president of that firm, and he agreed to meet with me. He met with me, sat down with me. I treated him out to coffee, and he taught me real estate for the time that we sat down together. And I just met with him because I was just simply interested in becoming a real estate agent. And here he is, a vice president of the firm, was open to gaining more agents within his company and so on and so forth. Was willing to sit down with me and taught me the ins and outs, for the time frame that we sat down, of real estate. I ended up, getting my license, getting my license, and I didn't end up signing with his company, interestingly enough, because I wanted to do residential real estate as well as commercial real estate. And so I didn't want to be trapped in only commercial. With his firm is solely commercial. And so it was a great blessing that he took the opportunity to sit down with me. And but I ended up getting licensed, and I ended up signing with a different firm that would allow me to do both. And to this day, I'm extremely grateful to that man, that vice president of that company, who took his time to sit down with me.
I was waiting for you to say that your pastor told you should go get your real estate license.
He did. He also did, by the way, but that's a whole nother story.
That's hilarious. And I can relate. I actually started in commercial. I had a firm that did only commercial.
Nice.
And I was there for like 5-6 years till the crash. While commercial was like 2010, it's always a year or two behind usually. So when it crashed, I came where I am now because it's probably the best place in my area to do both commercial and residential. So I kind of know what you're going with there. And now we will talk about where you have been for, I guess, 19 years now, right? 6 to 25, 19 years you've been there.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring a map up for all of us, including me, who don't know where things are. Wait, do I have it up? Yes, I do have it up. All right, we got our map up. We got our Google Globe here. And you can see the pin here. So Michigan is up there. It's pretty much a peninsula right there in between two Great Lakes. What lakes are those? Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. And then you can see Grand Rapids is kind of central west-ish, west
west
south.
Yep, southwest.
You call it the west side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and then so close to Lake Michigan there, and then it is 47 degrees there, so it's cold like here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I think we're probably similar temperature today, same time zone as us here on the east. And I'll read the little quick Google blurb here. Grand Rapids is a Michigan city on the Grand River east of Lake Michigan. On the outskirts, the Frederick Mayer Gardens. Did I say that right? We ran through this and I
Meyer.
forgot it already. Meyer.
Meyer.
The Frederick Mayer Gardens and Sculpture Park has a tropical conservatory and multiple gardens. Its art collection includes works by August Rodin, Henry Moore, and Ai Weiwei. If I murdered those names, whoever out there knows how I'm supposed to pronounce those names, whatever. So Ai Weiwei. And downtown, the Grand Rapids Art Museum spotlights Michigan artists in its rotating shows. Grand Rapids is known for many breweries dotted around town. Breweries is always a hard word to say too. Dotted around town, so lots of breweries around there, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. But now that we all know where Grand Rapids is, tell us a little bit about what the landscape is like. You're in there in the middle of a bunch of water, so is it mostly flat, or what are we dealing with?
Yeah, so the landscape is pretty flat. I mean, unlike Pennsylvania or say Colorado, we don't really have much mountains. I believe you guys have mountains down there in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep. Nothing
So,
huge, but yeah, enough.
oh, okay, yeah. So unlike that, we don't really have many mountains here in Grand Rapids. It's really flat for the most part. I mean, there are places where there's hiking and there's trails for bike riding and so on and so forth. There's so many people here in this area that really enjoy those kind of activities. But I would say, as far as in the general sense of things, the landscape is for the most part pretty flat. And then we do have and maybe we'll get on this a little bit later, but the Grand River that stretches Grand Rapids is for the most part known a lot, apart from the breweries, but for the Grand River that stretches all across the city. And so, yes, and many businesses establishing their name on that fact: Grand River Bank, Grand River this, Grand River, so, restaurants around it, and so on and so forth. But pertaining to the landscape, it is for the most part pretty flat.
So that's this river that I see here going straight through the middle. So we have the Susquehanna River going straight through the middle. And
Yep.
I think 1 or 2 episodes ago, Richmond, maybe it was Shannon, who has a river going through Richmond, I think. Don't quote me on people out there, but that's what I think. And here we have, it separates the East Shore from the West Shore. And historically, they're kind of like battling the East Shore versus the West Shore. West Shore people don't like to go over to the East Shore and vice versa. It's not really a thing anymore, but there probably was a time when, the more east is more urban, maybe, and the other side is a little bit more country or hick or whatever. So that's probably what it was about. So is there any kind of divide with the river?
No, not really. I mean, it's it's all still on Grand Rapids, but nonetheless, we all claim the river, Grand River, and the Grand River stretches. I mean, as you can see, I don't know if you zoomed out now, but it stretches. It goes even beyond Grand Rapids, right? It goes to different outskirting cities. I think Muskegon, it crosses through Muskegon, Holland, so on and so forth. But yeah, it is. There's not really a much divide, really, based on that.
And how big is the river? There's bridges across it, obviously.
Yep. It's pretty
is it a
big river.
or?
Pretty big river, pretty long river. Yeah, it's pretty. It's really.
Oh, actually, the thumbnail I made, and when I looked up Grand Rapids, one of the main photos that you see everywhere is some big bridge lit up at night.
Exactly.
That's the river there?
Exactly. That's absolutely true. So that's downtown Grand Rapids, and that bridge the bridge is located on the what's it called, right over the river, right over the Grand River, and that's downtown Grand Rapids.
Gotcha.
So
And
if you were to
trees-
Google Grand Rapids, that picture that you saw, that would be the picture. Yep.
Okay. All right. So everybody watching this, look in the thumbnail because it will be there and you can see it at night. It looks pretty awesome at night. They got it all
Yep,
lit up in
it
different
does.
colors and whatnot. What was I going to say? Oh, like trees and that kind of thing. So you have trees like we have here, like big giant oak trees and pine trees and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yep, yep. And
Just don't have mountains for those trees to sit in, but the same
yeah,
trees, at least if you go for a walk in the woods, there's something towering over you, right?
yes, yep, yep. You'll never be you'll never be lacking trees. If you're a tree enthusiast, you'll never be lacking in that area. I think we even have something like it's like some activity or company or something like that called Tree Runner, and I think it's like probably a maze, and I've never been there myself, but I think it's like a maze where they use trees and they kind of it's like
A ropes
some type
course.
of activity that people like to do here as well.
Yeah, they have a chain around here called monkeying around. They basically it's a course up in the trees and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
bolt
yeah.
stuff and have zip lines and some of it's jumping to the net and yeah, you got to hit that place up. That's probably awesome. If I lived somewhere flat, I'd be climbing trees for sure in no time probably because I'd be itching to do something in the trees.
Nice.
So that's cool. What about the weather? Again, you're surrounded by water. Is it wet there, humid, rainy? What's it like?
Yep. So weather and climate wise, so we have four seasons, right? Just like you in Pennsylvania. We have you got your summer, you got your fall, you got your spring, you got your winter as well, which we're in winter now. And so in the summer days, it's it's hot, but I would say it's not as hot as say Phoenix, Arizona, right? That's just Phoenix is known as the Sun Devil, that for a reason. So, but I would say we don't get that to that extent, but nonetheless, you do get your 90 plus degree weather during the summer. You do get your occasional heat flashes, right, and heat advisories that goes on your phone alerting you. So we do get that. During the winter, again, does get extremely cold as well sometimes as well. The as on the winter side of things, you also have, just like you have your heat advisory, you'll have your winter weather advisory as well. Here you'll have occasional storms, snowstorms that come around. I would say in years that it's pretty bad, you can have probably 6 to 12 inches of snow. That comes during the winter, and so that's kind of like a general
At a time.
idea. What was that?
At a time.
Yeah, I mean
That's not the
during
total.
like
That's not the whole winter. 6 to 12
yeah,
inches.
no, not ooh, no, not during the whole winter, but more so like during a storm, and that might last for like 2 days or so. So yeah, just at a time, not
And then
nothing
I was just
lasting.
looking up the coldest day on record in Grand Rapids. The Googles say it was in February 1899, negative 24 degrees. So
Wow.
that seems pretty cold, but that's pretty extreme. And it was actually, I was just looking up for a YouTube video, the coldest temperature here, and we were negative 22 in 1994. So you're pretty similar there on temperature.
Yeah.
2 degrees colder, that makes probably about perfect sense. You're slightly north, so
Yeah.
all right. And then what about like sleet and freezing rain? Do you get a lot of that? We get a lot of that, and it seems to be we get increasingly more of it because the stuff that would have been snow, it's not quite cold enough sometimes anymore. So now it's sleet and freezing rain.
Yeah, so we do get the sleet, right, and we get occasional hailstorms as well. I've experienced some of those. We do get occasional hailstorms. We do get sleet, freezing rain, you know, and when it starts to rain during the winter, what you experience is schools will shut down because the concern, of course, is that it's going to freeze, and if it freezes, then people are driving on ice, And so that's
Black ice for
black
those that are
black ice at
unfamiliar.
that. Exactly. That's taking. I was taught all about black ice during driver's training, and so it's taking that. That's something to be concerned, to be aware of. And but for in many of those instances, schools will like close. If there's a forecast showing that rain is going to come, and maybe sleet occurring, and so yeah, that's kind of what occurs sometimes.
Yeah, and you don't have kids yet, so you might not be tapped in. But here, where we used to have snow days and 2 hour delays and stuff, now they are pretty apt just to go ahead and cancel it, and then they do Zoom class from home, and there are no snow days anymore.
Oh wow.
And this is kind of a new thing since COVID because they got us all used to doing this stuff at
Oh
home
wow.
with Zoom.
Yeah, that's
So
new.
I don't.
That wasn't then when I was going to school. That wasn't the case.
We might be protesting that a little bit. If it's a good snow day and
Yeah,
dad
right.
wants to go sledding with the kids and we want to make some ice cream out of snow and do all those fun things that you can do in the snow, we might have to play hooky from Zoom class
Yep.
sometime. That's kind of a shame in my opinion. But anyway, all right, so you got the 4 seasons. It does get pretty cold. It gets hot, but you're probably heating your houses more than you're cooling your houses, like us here in PA. And then hail. Yeah, you mentioned a hail. You can always tell a hail neighborhood with you drive in and all the roofs are brand new in the neighborhood. You know there was a hailstorm and it hit that area, and then the insurance dude went around and said, "You want a new roof? You got a new roof?
Yeah,
You
right.
want a new roof?"
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. So what? I'm gonna bring the map back up. Where do people live and work? Do people usually do they work in like Grand Rapids city proper and live outside, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's Grand Rapids has a lot of businesses. It's a very very economic, or maybe the word I'm looking for is what's it called, metropolitan type of city. There's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of employment opportunities for people. We have major employers in this area. We have Steelcase, which is a national company, and it's based here in Grand Rapids. We have Amway, which is another mega corporation global company, and it's based here. Actually, Amway Corporation, its headquarters is just on the outskirts of the city, the actual city of Grand Rapids. It's on is in Ada, Michigan, which is where my office is located. And so anyways, yeah, that's Amway. But we do have mega corporations here. We have lots of opportunities for people to work here within the city, whether you're downtown within the actual nucleus or center, heart of the city itself. We got restaurants here. There's lots of restaurants if that's what you're into there, working in the restaurant industry. We have lots of we also have lots of shopping centers as well. There's a lot of that. We have some malls as well. There's Woodland Mall that's on the southeast side of town. We also have Rivertown Mall, and that's kind of just a little bit on the Rivertown is just a little bit on the outskirts of the city. That is on Granville. It's located in the Granville, which is just outside of Grand Rapids. But those are just some businesses and some companies for people to work at. And as far as living wise, there's many people just live in the city and then work it within the city. Others live just outside in the outskirts of the cities, like what I mentioned with Ada, with Granville, or some people even go as far west as Holland and they travel into town, and so on and so forth, just different parts. But what you'll see is many people in the who are living in the outskirts of Grand Rapids will look for employment within the city because there's so much opportunity within the actual city of Grand Rapids itself. And so they don't mind making that trip of, say, 20, 30, some people even 40 or 45 minutes to get to work, because and first of all, their place of employment is providing them substantial, payment where, they're able to feed their kids and family and so on and so forth. And it's just there's greater opportunities, basically, is what I'm saying. Got a lot of opportunity within the actual city, especially because there's a lot of companies that I'm finding out are actually moving in, or either relocating or either establishing a branches within the actual city itself in Grand Rapids. So the cost of living and the cost of rent, just like I'm sure with many other cities and places and states in the nation as well, has increased in Grand Rapids as of lately, just because there's so much more. There's many businesses coming into town, and the city has just really been booming in that area as well. So, yep.
So so like how long would it take to drive from Grand Rapids to the Lake Michigan?
Yep. So let's say, for example, Holland, right? Holland is a city that's west of Grand Rapids. And so Lake Michigan is right there, in Holland, is over there by that area. So to get there, you're looking at a, say, 45 minute, 45, I'd say 45 minute drive. If you're coming from Grand Rapids to Holland, Michigan itself, to get to Lake Michigan.
Okay. Would that be like a common thing for somebody to live like coastal and then drive to work in Grand Rapids? Or would somebody living that far west kind of work in Holland or one of these smaller kind of towns? Or I'm sure there are office centers outside of Grand Rapids proper as well, right?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's so somebody lives in Holland, right? And say, they get a job in Grand Rapids. Well, if their job is paying them, enough, and they can't find better employment where they're local, where they nearer to where they're residing, then they're going to be more willing to make that commute. And so we do find in many cases that, that is the case. In many instances, that is the case with many people, is that they'll make that 45-minute drive, like it's nothing, basically, and just because Grand Rapids is, providing a lot more opportunity than perhaps some of these other outskirting cities and towns.
And then do you have toll roads? Do you have Easy Pass there?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
If you have to think about it, you probably don't. I didn't even know. I thought every single state everywhere had it. And then Kansas, I think I was talking to Katie or somebody, and they said they don't even have Easy Pass.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't recall. To be honest with you, I don't recall. That as far as for me in my 18, 19 years of being here, I haven't seen something like that.
Well, that's good because it's just an extra bill and it keeps going up. Like what used to cost like 50 cents to get from this exit to this exit is now like $6, $7 or something.
Oh, wow. And just like within a 45-minute radius?
Yeah, I think, to go, like a 20, 30 minutes. The route I take from the one exit to maybe it's a 20 minutes worth of drive on the road to the next exit to the place I mountain bike. I want to say it's like $5-ish every time. And that's one way. So then if I want to go mountain biking at that place, I'm paying $10 just to drive there, unless I want to take the long route. But just kind of get used to it, I guess. But okay,
crazy.
So no Easy Passes, but you do obviously have a modern highway system, and it sounds like you can get around. You could probably make it around the whole like larger radius beyond Grand Rapids, a kind of 45 minutes any direction. You can kind of get anywhere or get back to the city proper. So not too bad. Sounds pretty good. Similar to here. You mentioned a few of the employers and industries there. Amway, is Amway it's like a catalog? Is that what that is?
Say that again.
What is Amway?
So Amway is essentially their company sells products, health
Right.
products.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that that's what you're talking about, right? Catalog health products, beauty products, those kind of supplies is what Amway is known for as far as selling home goods, those kind of things.
And you can, it's like a membership. You buy into it, but then you get some kind of discount, and then you get like some kind of kickbacks for getting other people into it, or is it?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the multi-level marketing, and so that's actually another thing that Amway is known for, really, in this city, Grand Rapids, is because they created this business model where it's multi-level marketing, where you join the business, you can buy products yourself and so on and so forth, but then you get your referral, you refer somebody else, they join the company, and then they basically come under you, and then it's so on and so forth and so on and so forth, right? So that is definitely something that Amway is known for. It's a business model that they've practiced for a while. But as far as content and production wise or product wise, it's health supplies, beauty supplies.
Is there any kind of tour of the place you can take, or do they have like an in-person showroom there, or like a flagship place or
Yep,
anything?
it is a big facility, a big factory. As far as a tour wise, I don't know that just because I've never taken one personally myself. But it is a very very nice facility, very nice facility. I have never personally, I like their headquarters, their main headquarters, which is located in Ada, which is again just on the outskirts of Grand Rapids. Which Ada is like, say, I'd say maybe 10-15 minutes, or actually not even that. Yeah, I would say maybe 7 to 10 minutes from Grand Rapids, and so that's where their headquarters is at, and it is what's it called? I drive past there all the time whenever I want to get to my office. I've never actually been inside to actually take a tour of it.
Video, you got it. That's a definitely living in video waiting
Yeah,
to be had there for sure.
exactly.
I have a couple places around here that I've been like a million times even, but I've never recorded them, and
Yeah,
people not from around here probably would like to see them. So,
yeah,
all
you're
right.
right.
And I'm assuming you got hospitals. Everybody's got hospitals around employing people, colleges,
Yep.
military, any of that?
Yep, we do that. We have that, and actually, I'm pulling up on my side on my computer here. We do have hospitals. We have Spectrum Health. Spectrum Health is a very well-known hospital here in this area. Um, Mercy Health is another one. We have Cherry. So as far as if hospitals are the concern for you guys who are interested in coming to Grand Rapids, you're not going to be lacking any of that. We have, like, just off the top of my mind, three main hospitals that I can think of. We got Spectrum Health, like I mentioned. We have Mercy Health as well, and we also have Cherry Health as well. And on aside from those, we also have kind of different private practices here and there. Either it's within the actual city of Grand Rapids or within the outskirts of town as well. We also have kind of different niche uh, practices as well, like, say, dermatologists, you know uh, uh, what's it called, orthodontists, dentists. There's also beauty kind of doctors that or therapy, or yeah, I'd say doctors that specialize in kind of beauty and healthcare, and those kind of details there. And so so as far as hospitals and healthcare, there's no shortage of that here in the city.
Yeah, it seems to be a growing industry everywhere and will probably never stop. So if you
Yeah.
need to be employed by or need the services, you should be good there and pretty much everywhere else you go, probably.
Yeah.
So entertainment, stuff to do. First question is, you're kind of close to the water. You got the river there. Are there water sports, that kind of thing? What do you do as far as
Yep.
water
Yep.
goes?
We As far as entertainment, entertainment, I see entertainment, food, vacationing, stadium, airport. So do you want me to start? We want to start on entertainment.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you
Okay,
want.
so entertainment. Um, there's always the city life in Grand Rapids. There's always, like, there's a few restaurants here and there that do, like, stand.
Oh no, I lost him. Did you guys lose him? I don't. He's frozen on mine. No.
You.
No. Oh, here it comes. You're back.
Oh, can
You were
you? Oh,
frozen
yeah,
there
we
for a
did go
minute.
off for a little bit, didn't we?
All right. Go ahead. Just pick up wherever you were.
Okay,
Stuff
okay.
to do.
Stuff to do. All right. So, as far as stuff to do, what I was mentioning, and I'm pulling it up here. All right. So, entertainment goes. As far as entertainment goes, I have this on my computer as well. So, there's the Grand Rapids Art Museum. There's John Ball Zoo. So for you guys who like animals, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, there's John Ball Zoo for you to go take a tour, take a tour of and see the animals and so on and so forth. The Children's Museum for you guys who are coming with kids, children. The Children's Museum is awesome for you. You can get a membership there, take your kids there. There's all types of games and activities for people to for your kids that they're really gonna like. There's also the public museum. There's the African American Museum, and there's the for you guys who are really into the opera. There's even an opera theater. There's a civic theater. There's a circle theater. There's the Voss Performance Hall, which is owned by the DeVosses, which some of you guys might be familiar with the DeVosses, that name. Um, but that is a lot of different events take place in that venue. Concerts, convocations, so many different events take place in that venue every single year. And so as far as the city life, there is no shortage of activities to do, fun. As far as food goes, Grand Rapids has a lot of restaurants. A lot of restaurants in the city and as well as out on the outskirts of the city as well. Chinese food, of course. We got American food. We got some French bistros. I hope I'm saying that right. Bistros. Um, we have Indian food as well, and actually downtown Grand Rapids, Indian food. We have an Indian food spot there as well. Um,
Breweries,
Vacationing.
the little blurb. It's the first
Say that again.
blurb. It's the first blurb that I've read that had brew. You must have so many breweries that they had to mention it in the short paragraph about the place.
Exactly, and I didn't even mention that too. Breweries. Many of you guys might have known Grand Rapids for the beer. It's Beer City is what they call it, right? So there's
Oh,
a
really?
there's innumerable breweries around here. Too many for me to count. But there's a lot. Honestly, I don't know how it all happened, but all of a sudden you just start looking, turning your head left and right. You see brewery, and but there's for you beer like drinkers, all you guys who like beer. I know you'll like Grand Rapids a lot.
Yeah, the long beards. The long beards come with the beer phenomenon, and the beer phenomenon happened because I don't know if it's still true, but craft beers were selling at like some of the highest multiples of businesses selling
Huh?
those in like HVAC companies. So building a brewery and then selling said craft brewery to one of the big owners or whatever, who would still run it as a craft brewery or something. That's a big thing. So that's cool, and it's good for tourism too. I'm sure people will come to places to do beer tours. I know in Vermont, there's a couple places where that's what you do there. You go there to taste beers and collect beers. And some of the places you can only buy so many at a time. So if you're going there and people tell you to buy certain beers while you're there to bring back and trade with them, and there's a whole culture that goes along with it. So you got
There you
that
go.
there.
I'm sure the beer fanatics will love that.
Yeah. What about like First Friday festivals, fireworks on holidays, kind of what I call like the pop-up festivals kind of thing?
Yep. There are so as far as say your holidays, right? So say the 4th of July. You'll have your fireworks, and most of the times that takes place right in the heart of Grand Rapids, the city, right in the city, um, and it's one. I think the last time that I attended was if you saw that thumbnail picture of the bridge in Grand Rapids. So it takes right over that bridge. They'll shoot the fireworks right on that bridge, and everybody will. And actually, as far as hotels goes, which for those of you guys who like to vacation and you want to come here in Grand Rapids, a couple hotels for you is JW Marriott, and these are like really really fancy and high class hotels. So you have your JW Marriott and you have your Amway Grand Plaza. So Amway, you heard about Amway the business, right? Selling products. Amway, that same company, which by the way, Amway is owned by the DeVosses. It's just some of you guys might know that family name, but they also own the Amway Grand Plaza, which is a hotel that's right in the city of Grand Rapids and really right on the Grand River. And so basically, what I was saying was last time I attended, I was in the hotel. I was on the Amway Grand. I was in the Amway Grand Plaza. Outside, they have a little patio / deck area, and so me and my pastor and my friends were out there, and they shot the fireworks right on the bridge, and so it was a beautiful, beautiful scenery. So as far as holidays goes, and 4th of July in particular, that's where you'll see your fireworks occurring right in the heart of Grand Rapids, right over the bridge, right over the Grand River. But if you so desire, like some people like to do, to go on the outskirts of the town, say Holland, you'll experience fireworks there. You'll experience, each kind of city hosts their own kind of fireworks, festival and so gathering and celebration. But Grand Rapids itself does have that as well.
Nice. And then last question, because we're running long. I used to put these on IGTV, so I was forced to keep it under 59 minutes. That was my cutoff, but now there is no more IGTV. So now I'm kind of at this, I'm giving myself leeway to go over. No. And then they still allowed you to upload videos up to like an hour. And then a week later, they took it down to 30 minutes. So now I just put a trailer on IG that directs them somewhere else. So I got to stop giving myself leeway, though, and still keep them to an hour. So we'll keep it moving. But I do want to ask you still on the entertainment, what to do, all that kind of stuff. Airport, if you got to get out of there and you're going on vacation, going somewhere far away, what's the closest airport?
Gerald R. Ford Airport. Gerald R. Ford Airport. That is on the southeast side of town. Over by Grand Rapids / Kentwood, and so Kentwood is another kind of outskirt town, right next to Grand Rapids though. But Gerald R. Ford Airport, it's where everybody comes and goes. So you can. I think that they have nonstop every single day. Trips from here to different places. I know one in particular is Houston, Texas, nonstop every single day. They have a plane that's always going back and forth there. But Gerald Ford Airport is a great airport that many people here are familiar with.
Nice. It's nice to have something close by. We have the Harrisburg International Airport, which is right there. Sometimes you got to drive a little bit farther to get the better flight or the nonstop flight or something, but it's nice to at least have that option that's right there and makes it a lot more. Then you can get a ride to the airport rather than having to drive and put your car and spend another $200 or whatever on storing it there or whatever, which is fine. Yep. But if I can get a ride from my parents, not my wife anymore because I just got divorced, as I told you. So get a ride from my parents or Uber to the airport to have a nice little trip. So, all right, that's good to know. So let's tell everybody what they get for the money. I'll start by what you get here for the money. I think our entry level, kind of to get a 2-story with a 2-car garage, 3 to 4 bed, couple thousand square feet on a 0.25 acre, probably built in the 90s, 80s through like early 2000s, something like that. Entry level now is probably like 300-ish. So kind of the entry level to the kind of American dream, I'd say, is probably in that 300-ish range now. So how does that compare up there?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I would say based on the criteria that you just mentioned, which can you repeat that criteria one more time?
Three to four bed. Usually they want four bed. Three to four bed, two car garage, two-story usually, maybe a ranch too, but two-story on like zero point 0.2 acres.
Okay, so I would say with here in Grand Rapids, that is close, 300. However, I would say even perhaps even a little bit less. Say maybe 270, 275. Because I did an open house recently. That's the same criteria for the most part. Um, and also we're selling for I think 275 or 279, I think. But right around that range, I would say 275 would be a good price range for somebody who's looking for that kind of house. Three bedrooms. I would say three bedrooms. I don't know about four bedrooms is a whole different story. Four bedrooms, you're looking at probably 300,000 or above. But three bedrooms, and what's it called? Two stall garage. Maybe yeah, like zero point 0.2 acres or so. Yeah, right around 275 is probably what you can expect to be paying for that kind of house in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. And then what, like in that example, do you think that one will sell for more than that? Will that sell for like
Yep.
300? Like
I think it
here, it
sold for
probably
the
would.
asking price. Yep. And so
Okay.
that house, the house was not my listing, but it was a friend of mine's, and the I think it sold for right around right what it was asking, which was that 275/279 number.
Okay. And that was a three bed, you said.
Yep, three bedrooms. Yep, three
Yeah,
bedrooms,
yeah.
and I
Because as
believe
soon as
that
you throw that extra bed on there, now it almost like you got to
it,
ask 299 for that thing because you can't get
exactly
a four
exactly
bed for
one.
less than 299, right?
Once you get to four bedrooms, you're looking at 299, 300,000 or above. So
And then what about the luxury market? What if
yeah.
somebody was needed had $1 million plus to spend here? Our luxury price starts at like 750, 800 maybe. But if you got a million, couple million here, you can go get 10 acres plus a giant mansion for that. What are you looking at there?
So if you're looking for luxury real estate, it's well, one, I would say your the geographical location is going to be important. Like, are you looking for in the city of Grand Rapids, or are you looking for outside of the city of Grand Rapids, like say Ada? Now, Ada is a very, very rich community. As far as in comparison to the other towns and here in Michigan, Ada is very well known as far as for its economic what's it called demographics, the economic demographics. And so of course the taxes are higher in Ada. So if you're looking for a luxury property in Ada, you're probably looking for right there at $1 million or more. um, Now if you're looking for that kind of same house in say Grand Rapids, yeah, you probably would be right around maybe $800,000. And and so Grand Rapids and even maybe Kentwood, Michigan as well, maybe $800,000. Once you get to Ada, and of course there are nuances of that in cases whereby you do get to $1 million and above, and so on and so forth. But most of what I've discovered is when you're getting to like a town such as Ada, which is like I said, just about 7-10 minutes from Grand Rapids, then you're looking at probably right there at $1 million plus dollars.
Okay. And then what about the age of homes? Are you is everything built out? There's no more land left, or do you have choice of resales as well as new construction?
Yes, so there are a variety. I mean, so we there are many older homes, right? Homes that are built, and especially when you get into like the actual heart of Grand Rapids itself, there's like this little, uh, you know, division, if you would. This little division, this little area called man, don't slip my mind now. Don't slip my mind. But it'll come to me. But anyways, it's very very it's valued and it's appreciated because it's historic. It's a historic type of community, and houses there It's nothing for a house to be, say, built in 1946 or 1950 or so on and so forth. You do have those instances, and you do see those cases here and there where houses are up and occupied that were built in the 40s, 50s. But you also do see many new construction possibilities and listings as well in Grand Rapids, and also in the outskirts of the town as well. So the opportunities are available for anybody who, regardless of whatever it is that they want, whether they want to build from the ground up, or whether they want maybe something more historic, or even if they do want something that is already built, they don't want to go through the stress or the hassle of building from the ground up themselves. They want something that's fairly newer, say say the 2000s year and above. Those are also available as well, and abundant as well on the market.
And then my last question before I promise to move it on to the end is HOAs. Maybe somebody from Florida coming from a HOA heavy place. Is it the same up there? Do you have gated communities with golf courses and all this stuff? Or is it more like here in central Pennsylvania where we might have HOAs, but it's more common just with townhouse developments, and there usually aren't gates or amenities or anything? What's it like with HOAs?
Yep. So there are HOAs, houses located in associations, and the fees, of course, vary, right, depending on the association. Some a little bit cheaper, some a little bit more. I don't know what the market as far as the HOAs are in Florida, what they typically cost, but so I don't really have a way to compare them to where this is at here. But just to answer your question, HOAs are HOAs here in Grand Rapids, and as well as in the outskirts of town as well, and they do vary from price range depending on how nicer they are. And as far as the gated communities, they are gated communities as well. I was just drove into one some time ago. Gated community, beautiful neighborhood. I'm talking $800,000 or above, $1 million houses, and it was a gated community, and of course it had an HOA as well. So they are out there. As far as golf courses, I'm sure those are out there as well. I personally have not seen them myself, but nonetheless, they are HOAs and they vary.
Yeah, the whole gated thing intrigues me. It feels like, what are you gating against? What's coming in here, attacking or what? I never quite got it, and because we don't have them at all here. I don't know of one gated community. I don't think. If anybody's watching out there in central PA, of one, let me know. But so what are you gating against? I guess if you have the golf course and all these amenities like a lot of them have, you don't want people from the outside coming in, and the easiest way to stop all that is to just throw a gate or a fence around the whole darn place and then put a gate at the front. So I guess it makes sense, but do you have that big of a problem? Yeah. All right. I won't harp on that anymore.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I drove into a gated community sometime. The gate was open, right? The gate was open. It seemed to have been open for a while. I drove into the gated community. Here I am. I'm door knocking. So I drive into the gated community. I knock on the door. And then, so I get ready to leave, and I begin to turn back towards the exit, and the gate is closed. And I'm like, whoa, how am I going to get out of here? So
hopefully it automatically opens from the other side.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I think that there were surveillance cameras or something like that. And like, who is this guy that just came into our community?
Or the whole gated concept doesn't work at all, and most of them are just open all the time anyway, so you can just go in there. Depends if the HOA pays the front guard guy or if the people in charge of the budget suck, and now we can't have a front gate guy or girl. All right, so last question that has nothing to do with real estate or Grand Rapids or anything, but does have to do with you. If you could do any other profession, what would you do?
Author, which is kind of what I'm doing already. But I'd be an author, which again, like I'm doing that already. But it's just a passion of mine, just something that I really enjoy doing. Yeah, it's just something that I foresee doing also even more in the future as well.
That's awesome. It also keeps your mind sharp, especially in old age. Aren't you? You're supposed to write. Writing is supposed to be a good thing.
Yes.
To do. And reading, obviously. I wish I could read more, better, but I can't stand it. I don't know what I read after a page. I read a page. Even at the beginning of the page, I'm like, focus, and I gotta read really slow focus, inevitably, every single time. By the end of the page, I have no idea what I just read, so maybe I need some help with that. So that's cool. Read your information aloud, your phone number and your email and your website, so that people that might be listening later can write it down.
Yeah, so my phone number is 616-856-0878. My email address is Martin, Martin, at Martin, Martin, Uchendu, UC as in cat, HENDU.com. And then my website is martinuchendu.com. It's my first and last name.com.
And all that info, if you have a description somewhere, wherever you're watching or listening, you should be in there to click on it. And all his Facebooks and Instagrams and all his socials and everything will be linked in there as well. Contact me if you need to buy or sell here and then move up to Grand Rapids. Or if you just want to visit there, hit me up and I'll connect you with Martin. If you need to buy or sell a home, like I said, we still need inventory pretty badly here. And it sounds like you still need it fairly badly up there too. But it is dying down slightly. So if you need to buy or sell, hit me up. Call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. I want to talk to you and help you move out of this area to Grand Rapids or to the Central PA area. I could go on and on about why we're awesome, but that is not what this episode is about. So thank you for being here, Martin. I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and say goodbye, Martin.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Derek, for having me. Thank you guys for your time.